Hey guys, this is SF and I'll be showing off a new monster, and that is the new light impossible dungeon monster called Daikokuten. Let's look at his stats. So Paladin, very high HP, okay attack at it's 21 maxed, but with gauge shot is a 24k, and then around 308 for the speed. Bounce monster, no warp for the ability, no damage wall for the gauge. Strike shot is a missile and it explodes. You shoot the missile kind of like a giant laser type of thing, and then there's something special about that strike shot that I will be showing you later. And then bump combo is a shock, and I'm not kidding, is 153,000. But I'll explain more of it once we get into the dungeon. I'll be playing a normal dungeon just as a warm-up. I will be playing using them actually, they're twins, using them in future extremes and stuff like that, so be a lookout for that. And I'm gonna bring a Lucifer because there is some synergy with Daikokuten and Lucifer, which I think is really good. Of course, it's not only Lucifer, there's a lot of monsters that can synergize well with Daikokuten, but Lucifer is the more popular ones because of with their two strike shots being really effective together. But let's talk about the bump combo. So bump combo is a shock. Once you hit it, once a monster hits it, or when Daikokuten hits it with a bump, hits a bump blast, bump, then it will shoot lightning around an area, around the actual ball of Daikokuten, and then if anybody's in range of that area, they will get shocked. The initial damage will be 153,000. So in terms of actual damage onto a mob, it's okay, it's pretty good. And then what's more, and further on, if a mob is within range of a really close range within another mob, then the lightning will latch on to the next person. Of course, it will not do the full damage of 153,000. It will do less, and damage will decrease in terms of distance traveled, I think. But right now I'll just shoot it, and it hit one, and then the lightning will latch on to the next closest mob. So it's the next closest mob, and the range is not that big. Of course, it won't go like throughout the whole map. It's not like Skill Me where it just hits everybody. I do want to stall a bit, so just for the strike shot, because this dungeon is not that hard, so I'm going to stall a bit. But really effective against mob clearing. Not really much onto bosses because the lightning does not hit the weak spot. So even if you get the full damage of the 150,000 onto the boss, it will only do 150,000. It will not do like 3 times, but if it hits a weak spot, so it won't go to like 450k if you times 3. So be wary of that. But it's really good for wave clearing mobs. I'm gonna stall. I'm gonna keep on stalling because I'm gonna let the dude revive the mobs and then stall that way, because I do want to show off the strike shot, because at the pace I'm going, I'm probably gonna go to the last part with Daikokuten's strike shot still on cooldown. Now the lightning only attacks one. It only attacks one enemy per hit, so it won't do multiple even though it's in the same range as the mobs, like with the mob. So it either the lightning stops when it has no more mobs to hit, whether they're out of range or all the mobs around that area already been hit, or it fizzles out because damage does reduce to 0. Damage reduced to 0 when the longer it goes. So when it hits 0, the thing fizzles out, and then that will end the bump combo, which is fine in my opinion, because if you hit, what you call it? Because if you get multiple hits on one mob, then it'll be like really crazy OP. And I'm gonna start moving on a bit, and I've been like shooting Daikokuten as a Pierce monster for some reason, just because I think because of Eva 13 and Low Lady are Pierce monsters, and I'm not really thinking of where I'm shooting. Pretty much, I'm more focused on actually talking. But I should be okay. There's still one more bar, and hopefully there's a bonus stage. Let's see how much damage. Not bad. So 161, 93, and then 56, if I can see it correctly. Okay, this should be boss. Now 15 turns for speed clear, 3 bars, nothing really big. It is a normal dungeon monster. And Daikokuten is really in good position for just mob clearing, which is the main use of this monster. See, it latches onto like multiple enemies, and then it fizzles out because it hit the ninja last, and then there's nobody else in range that haven't been hit yet. So very good. Nice. Good thing strike shots will be up for the last bar, which I'm going to use their strike shot. Oh, not in range of the shot. That's a little saddening. And shock. The range is relatively big, so you won't be that worried about not hitting mobs, and especially not hitting with like the chain. I'm not going to use Low Lady strike shot just because I want to show you the actual power and hope that Daikokuten strike shot will not one shot, because there is a chance of one-shotting that. So I'm not even going to bump into Lucifer either. Okay, strike shot, and I'm gonna shoot here and get ready for a lot of animations. And as you can see, there are no more gravity barriers. So just to talk about the strike shot here, is it will shoot a giant missile and it will hit the boss or whatever the target is. This time it was a shield, so it didn't do that much damage. It did like around 700 to 800k, but with but if it hit directly to the boss, it will do more. It will do around 900k, and it will also destroys gravity barriers for a specific amount of turns. I'm not really sure how many turns, but at least everybody gets a shot with the no gravity barriers. And also the missile, the explosion will also clear off mines and damage walls. So it's really strong. But gravity barriers is the only one that's really good for Daikokuten, because they have to wait. You have to wait a few turns for it to be back up. But for damage walls and mines, it really depends on the mobs, because the mobs can shoot out new mines and then shoot out new mines and new damage walls, and we'll be back at square one. So there's some problems with that one. There's some things that you need to take note of. But why is it good for Lucifer? It's because if your team's full of if there's a gravity barrier, it will slow your monsters down. So now that there's no more gravity barriers, you can freely command SS, and all of them can move freely without getting stuck on the gravity barrier, because all three of them are non-gravity barriers, and even Lucifer is not a no gravity barrier monster. EVA 13 is a no gravity barrier monster, but it is a gauge shot, so when you start moving with command SS, it only counts for the main ability, not the gauge ability. So since the main ability is not no gravity barrier, it will still get stuck in the gravity barrier. But that's pretty much it. There is synergy there, especially with command SS, or if you want to clear off damage walls for your next monster to actually do some stuff, then that'll be good as well. But it's the best use is, of course, clearing the gravity barriers and command SS or something to that effect, or like a wall bouncing SS if you have a no gravity barrier monster, kind of like a Zenfei or something like that. Well, what are good uses? Of course, not Harley X Strike Shot, because she's a no gravity barrier monster, but there are a lot of uses for it in my opinion. I can't really think of any other ones, but this is a really main big one, because especially with Lucifer, because they're both no damage wall monsters, they have the same main no ability, and of course gravity barriers are a pain in the neck for Lucifer, and of course Daikokuten as well. But what's really good is, of course, good mob clear for Daikokuten just from the bump combo, because it clears mobs. It doesn't do DPS to the boss that much, but that's for your other monsters to offset that, and of course the SS is a good nuke, is a relatively good nuke, and it also destroys some hazards that your monsters might be having trouble with, especially with the next few turns, because mines can be trouble, damage walls can be a trouble, and of course gravity barriers can be a nuisance as well. But that's it for me, and that is Daikokuten. Very, very strong. One of the better, I think, top two impossible monsters that you can get. Rivals Kushinada in my opinion. So Kushinada, Daikokuten are my top two in terms of impossible monsters, and no warp and no damage wall for the abilities. So I think Aladdin's a little bit sad right now, because I think this guy, the twins are a little bit better. But it really depends on your uses, if you really value DPS on bosses or DPS on the mobs, because Aladdin does more DPS on the bosses instead of Daikokuten, where it does DPS to mobs only. But then the strike shot is really, really powerful in terms of Daikokuten, and Aladdin's kind of around for his strike shot. It's kind of hit or miss with that. You have to get it's really hard to use Aladdin's strike shot just to get damage. The counter is okay, but there's less potential in terms of there's a high ceiling but a very low floor as well. But that's it for me. I hope you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.